different. Lindy Waters for the win. He got it. His fifth three, a walk-off three, and a nice way to begin the preseason. Have some fun. Come on now. He doesn't get anybody. Acquired by a new team.
Yo, what a shot. Lindy Waters knocked that down, what, 3 feet behind the line coming off a pin down? That's crazy, bro. That's an incredible shot from an incredible shooter. I think the Warriors got themselves a designated marksman. Waters is nice. He went 5 for 7 from 3 in 15 minutes. Lindy was getting his up for show. Look, even though it's just preseason, games like this mean something. Finishes like this mean something. For a young player like Lindy Waters, who's been a fringe guy to start his career, those type of moments, even if it's preseason, they mean something to him. It's a huge confidence boost, it's a huge morale boost, and he might be able to carry this momentum into the season. Here's what Steve Kerr had to say about Lindy Waters' game winner.
With Lindy, knocking down that shot is beautiful. He's a really good shooter, but he's more than just a shooter. He's got good size. He's not just a spot-up guy, as you saw in that last one. He came off of a pin down, and so he's a good shooter off movement, but he also understands the game well. And so we're really thrilled to have him. We liked him in the past when we played against him. Thought Mike did a great job of trading for him and finding him, and he's definitely got skills to play our style, and we're excited about him. What did you think?
Lindy Waters is probably the third best shooter on this team, behind Steph and Buddy Hield. Even though he's a three-point specialist, he's not no lick on defense, although not a lockdown defender by any means. He has a pretty solid fundamental understanding of where to be defensively. And at 6'6", he has decent length that allows him to execute defensively. He's not a huge plus defender, but he's also not going to be a weak link. And when you talk about someone who's slotted in to be your 12th, 13th, or 14th man, you could do way worse than a 6'6" wing that's a pure shooter and has a post defensively. OKC didn't trade him because he couldn't play. They traded him because they had a roster crunch on a deep, talented roster that has a bunch of recently drafted prospects that they want to get a look at. So yeah, man, I'm excited for Lindy Waters. I don't expect him to be in the rotation, but I do know he's definitely going to have his moments throughout the season. All right, moving on. Let's get to some takeaways for the Warriors' first preseason game against the Clippers. With Andrew Wiggins out with a sickness, the Warriors went with a Steph Curry, DeAnthony Melton, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, and TJD starting five. A Kuminga, Draymond, TJD frontcourt is a combination that I know a lot of Warriors fans wanted to see. So here's Kerr's thoughts on the Kuminga, Draymond, TJD frontcourt.
What did you think of his starting group?
Not great, but it's preseason, for everybody, and so we didn't have really good rhythm coming out. Slow start, but still good to get those 5 guys on the floor and see what that looked like.
Is the Kuminga, Draymond, Trace combination something that you want to keep trying out?
Yeah, we want to keep looking at it, and obviously all 3 guys are talented players, and you want to be able to play your best players together on the floor, but it has to click. So we'll keep trying.
So that's Steve Kerr's opinion. A few things that I saw, they were pretty good in transition. Combination of Kuminga and TJD as play finishers gave the Warriors some much needed juice athletically. So whenever they got to stop and force a turnover, they were off to the races. And when they were hard to deal with getting downhill. So that's the positive. The negative, it looks pretty clunky in the half court. TJD's a complete non-shooter outside of 3 feet. Draymond's a reluctant shooter that doesn't want to shoot. And then you got Kuminga, who's still unproven as a threat from outside. So that basically leaves Steph and Melton as the only 3-point shooting threats. And although Steph's the greatest of all time, just him plus Melton as outside threats in the starting lineup, that's just not good enough. Now the sample size is obviously small, so we have no idea if Kuminga actually took a leap as a shooter. So until then, you can't really judge a starting 5 based off one preseason game. But as Steve Kerr said, preseason is a time to experiment with it. This is a time to see how they play together and collect data with 0 stakes on the line. Next up, let's talk about Moses Moody. Moody looks locked in, bro. Moody played 13 minutes and finished with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, went 2 for 5 from 3, and a plus 14 for the game. Moody's activity level defensively was notable, and offensively his shot looks good. I think Moody's going to force Steve Kerr's hand because what he brings to the table for this team as a two-way player is going to be extremely valuable. I don't think GB2 should be playing over Moody, and Buddy Hield might be in that category too, because with Moody coming into his own, he's a better offensive player than GB2. He's a better defensive player than Buddy Hield. So yeah, man, this minutes crunch is going to be very interesting. Moody needs to be in a rotation for sure. There's just no ways around that. Bare minimum, needs to be playing 15 minutes a game. And like I said, that's going to come at the expense of GP2 and Buddy Hield. I don't see him cutting the Paz and Melton's minutes because if you think about it, Melton's a more polished veteran version of Moody, and Paz is a much needed ball handler. Looking at that starting shooting guard competition after one preseason game, let's check out who stocks up and who stocks down. Starting with Paz. Paz had 4 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 for 9 from the field, and 0 for 3 from three-pointer with a plus 5 for the game and 19 minutes played. Paz had some okay activity with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals, but only scored 4 points and went 1 for 9 from the field and at 0 for 3 from 3. I mean, you gotta say his stock's down. Now, obviously, it's one preseason game, so the sample size ain't much, but I was hoping to see Paz come out a little more efficient. But as of now, I gotta say his stock is down for that starting shooting guard spot. Moving on to Buddy Hield. Buddy had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and went 2 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and he was a +4 in 17 minutes played. Buddy couldn't hit nothing. Now, obviously, this is an off shooting night for a shooter. I'm not too worried about it in the long term. It happens. But considering Buddy's the weakest defender out of him, Paz, and Melton, him being cold offensively doesn't bode well for his stock. You gotta say his stock is down. Melton had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. He went 3 for 7 from the field and went 2 for 5 from 3. He was a +2 for the game in 12 minutes played. The stats aren't popping off the screen, but I like what I saw from Melton. He was disruptive defensively. He was getting his hands on balls and forcing turnovers, which sparked fast breaks and led to transition scoring. He's going to be a very solid two-way player for the Warriors, and I like the way he played off Steph. You gotta say Melton's stock is up after this game. So we're only one preseason game in, but as of now, in regards to the starting shooting guard spot, I would say Paz and Buddy Hield's stock is down, and Melton's is up. Anyways, that's all I got for y'all. If I entertained you or you learned something new, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.